So, welcome to yet another edition of BE Cafe. We have with us today the man in the news, Ajit Varghese, the global president at Wavemaker. Um, as all of you know, Ajit has had a fantastic run in his media career, spanning decades, from where he's headed agencies in India and moving on to heading Maxis in Asia and subsequently becoming part of the global leadership team when Maxis was merged with MEC to form Wavemaker. And then subsequently, he was elevated as the global president of Wavemaker. And news broke early this week that Ajit has kind of said that it's time to kind of move on. It's been 13 long years with the WPP, according to what he was uh, saying, I think, in a social media platform. So here we are to catch up with Ajit to know about the past, the present, the future, the fantastic run that he's had, and many of you wouldn't know that an agricultural engineer from Rourkela who wanted to be in the Air Force ended up being in the media agency space. I think he started off with market research, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And finally, he's kind of managed to be the global leader of a leading media agency. So what a fantastic and amazing run it's been, Ajit. Can you take us through the high points in those few years or many years?
Thank you, Prasad. Very good evening. I think thank you for giving me the privilege of coming on this video. Right? I think you're making it sound much better than when I look at it. But I guess I think I have nothing to complain in my last 25 years. I absolutely enjoyed what I did. I just feel that I'm in the right sector and I'm in the right medium for the last 25 years. I mean, I evaluate that more from a sense of when I go to office, do I look forward to it? And I think every day in the last 25 years, ever since I've been working till the last day, I think I was looking forward to the every day that I go to office. And that's what media and the entertainment sector has given me. I think that's the big factor. I mean, if you ask me today, I left because I was slowly slowing down and saying, am I looking forward to that, or do I want to do something different? And I think I got the answer of saying, yes, I'm now looking at doing something different. I'll stick to media, I'll stick to consultancy, I'll stick to brand building and growth, but probably in a slightly different way. And maybe COVID has given me a good excuse to pivot into new area, look into new areas in a fresh way. If you ask me where did I start, I see we all have built our careers through a bit of dreams, bit of ambition, and bit of missteps also, right? I mean, we think when we study, we think we'll do it in a certain way. Then sometimes opportunity stares at the door, and we just take it and run, and suddenly you realize that this is my roof under the sun, and I've discovered my mojo, and I think media gave me that opportunity. Media gave me that opportunity of saying, I found my mojo, and I think I found my adrenaline pumping every day, because media never lets you rest. I mean, if you look at the last 15, 20 years, I would say I've been lucky enough to say every few weeks, every few months, every few years, it gives you those pivots to make you move and evolve with times. And I think therefore, if you're committed, if you are going to stay on the course, you will be successful. So I would say I'm pretty average, but I just probably stayed on the course long enough.
And if I could ask you this, that which were those moments early on in your career when you actually really thought that this is the day that I'm going to have, I'm going to rule this business someday?
I mean, there are many such moments. I mean, if early in the career, when I joined research, all I knew was I'm probably good at maths and good at statistics, good at good at data, right? But then I realized I'm probably a backroom worker of supplying data and research versus being in the front end to take decisions. So that gave me the big jump into saying, okay, I want to be in the front where I can take decisions, and media gave me that opportunity to, because a lot of clients are not really trusting you how to build brands, how to make sure that you're able to reach their consumers, but are also handing over their money for you to invest. So I look at it that way. I look at it, it's like a finance market, right? People are trusting you with the money to make sure that money gives you the bang for the buck and the best return on income, right? And so media works very, very similarly. I mean, it may not be as literal, but if you look at every month, every campaign, every result, it is a very, very highly performing art, right? In the sense, whatever you do, you get the results in the next month or next week. So I think media gave me that impact of saying, whatever analytical mind you have, whatever artistic solutions or smart solutions or creative solutions you build, has immediate effect in the market. And therefore the client almost responds and pushes you immediately within a month, right? And I think that gave the adrenaline of saying, you know, oh, this is an exciting field, which is going to help me do that. My second mojo came when I was working for Coca-Cola, and again, Coca-Cola and Pepsi in the late 90s were in a highly competitive environment, was fighting for properties, fighting every day for market share of beverage, share of market, all of that, right? And that
those famous days, no, nothing official about it happened.
Yeah, famous days of nothing official about it. And eventually it came to not just making strategic interventions in Coca-Cola world, both in and convincing Coca-Cola global to make sure that India has a completely different strategy, and don't look at India as India, but India is a mix of many states. Then making sure that the investment is not a standard sheet of paper where you put 100 GRPs per week, but start looking at sponsorship, branding, SOVs, you know. So how do you constantly evolve a client and fight Pepsi in the market share through all its brands? And we were fairly successful. I think, and the client trusted us a lot, because I think maybe we were right, or maybe I think we're luck, or you call it things were right at that time. We were able to fight market share. We were able to fight on properties. We were fight of building that touch points with our consumers so good. I think the client believed in us and made us a strategic consultants for a long period of time. I think, but that gave me the confidence that not only we know the art and science of media, but we can now convince clients on how to get bang for their buck, but also build brands over a long period of time. And then all that I had to do is replicate that across Marico, TVS, McDonald's, and many set of clients. So, and then success breeds success, right? Because at that time I was in Madison, we probably had a record of over 90% retention of clients and 90%, 95% new business wins. And I think that gave and under Sam Balsara's leadership his leadership, I think he gave us that independence and the trust and the confidence that even as young people, we could flourish. We could go into the market, believe in ourselves, innovate, take some risk, rather than sit back and say, be a lazy planner. I think the third step came when I took Maxis over in 2006. I think this was the time when the digital transformation was taking shape in the market, and digital was becoming a buzzword in the mid 2000s. And I think Maxis gave me the opportunity to take a underlying brand of Group M and have an ambition to make it the biggest brand. So to me, it is probably like taking a dark horse or roof under the sun, and therefore create a brand, not just which is a challenging brand, but also we had the ambition to have it as the top brand of India. And we, in fact, the team that initially started off had a 10-year plan right at the start of 2006. We said we will create a 10-year plan, and by 7th or 8th year, we should be the number one brand in the country. The fact that the number one brand was a Groupem brand itself gave us a healthy competition within our own group to make sure that there is healthy competition. Therefore, because we had this huge, the fact that the number one brand was within our same group gave us that healthy mix of competition, strive for excellence within the same group to make sure that the best man wins, right? And what happened in the result is that, because we had one big brand and one small brand challenging the market, Groupem actually increased their market share from almost 36-37% in the market to almost 42-43% in the next 5 years in the market. So that made us not just build brands, build trust on clients, but what we did is we built business. We built business in terms of the traditional media. We started being one of the top brands in digital media. We started creative media services. We started own media services. We started doing data analytics and sports marketing. We started content as a division. So eventually, from a traditional setup of media business, we completely moved up into a diversified service business with almost like a 70-30 ratio. 30% of our business was diversified. And that, to me, again, gave us the confidence, not only establishes me as a leader and a businessman, but the fact that I can now run companies in a way that it gives customer satisfaction. It makes sure that we are on the edge of innovation, and also build business and run the business profitably and in a diversified way. And that, again, therefore the success builds success, and therefore I was promoted to CEO of Asia Pacific in Maxis. We could build the same set of success in China, in Southeast Asia, and to a fair extent in Australia. Again, each of these pivots not only give you the confidence that you can be a better leader, but also the fact that you can build people, build organizations, build brands, and build customer satisfaction. I think, therefore, I would say every 5 years or 7 years, you get that new pivots in your life, in your career, which kept you going. And I eventually did global in Wavemaker. Again, 40 to 50 P&L markets I was handling. Excellent exposure. I would say probably I ended on a high because I got 40 to 50 market exposure, and I was doing strategic business planning for 60 markets. I was doing market development for almost 50 markets, and I was also therefore setting up new practices like precision marketing. We had an ambition to build content as a business to almost 20% of our revenue. And we were looking at platform integrations and therefore moving into performance. So I was handling these strategic projects for Wavemaker. In the end, probably a lot of management changes happened. The CEO changed, and I thought maybe now I'm getting to a phase where I should probably look at 2-3 reasons. One, I should look at where the ambitions and scope matches very well. But also maybe I should go back to Asia where I was already making an impact, and therefore can go a bit deeper rather than being spread across 40-50 countries. And a personal reason that my mom is alone in India now, therefore I could probably spend more time with her.
Okay, and if I could ask you a question which is related to the landscape in general as of now, as you know, if we could use a kind of a Air Force analogy, the entire industry is kind of riding through turbulence. People are saying, come on, put down the seat belts and stay where you are. But you have chosen to kind of take the parachute out. Yeah. So is the business heading for a crash land? That's the question.
See, the smart businesses always evolve. So I'm a positive thinker. I would always say the smart businesses will always evolve. And I think that's why leadership changes happen. That's why the product changes happen. That's why the thinking changes, right? So, but to give you a thing about, if I were to link it to myself, I'll tell you my story. After I resigned, the COVID lockdown happened, obviously I was spending my notice period and stuff like that.
Right.
I'll just give you this backstory. I was planning to move out of London. The lockdown happened. I've been living in four Airbnb flats, one hotel, a country change, and a job change in the last 5 months.
Wow.
So if there is change and chaos, probably I actually love it, because two things. One is, initially you feel a bit backwards and saying, oh, what did I do? Is it going to everything is a doomsday? But I think eventually you realize every chaos gives you opportunity. But if it is actually steady state, any fool could ride, right? So we need smarter people, good leaders, who can manage this chaos and look at these opportunities to see what can improve. Now, if I use this analogy back into our industry, see, 2005 to 2015, we had a golden ride. Everything was doing, whatever we touched turned into golden business, right? We could move into digital content, activation, experience. You talk about sports marketing. You talk about everything. Everything seems to be working, especially in the places that I work for, right? But eventually, around 2015, things already started changing. So performance business the business was moving into more performance. Business was moving into more automated creatives. Business was moving into e-com. Business was moving into a much more in terms of starting from a communication planning. We are now doing precision targeting, so one-on-one communication and stuff. So a lot of signals had actually started throwing. But what typically happens in the industry is that you don't change very fast, because you're sitting on a big bucket or big set of businesses across the world. You can't move very fast and catch all the new trends in the immediate phase. And that's where probably this COVID has helped, because now you're not given a choice. So if decision making, or if from thinking to action took 2 to 3 years, now it will happen within a year.
Right.
And that is an opportunity for people like us, right? I mean, for professionals like us, when companies have to go through this big change, professionals always like it, because professionals wanted this change all the time. But either because of business challenges or finances or global investments and stuff like that, you can't change very fast. It's only the nimble-footed who changes very fast, or startups which change very fast, right? Big organizations don't change very fast. In this COVID time, I see organizations now are changing very fast. Not just
so you feel the advantage is back in the hands of the Goliaths?
Sorry, say that again.
So I'm saying that in the battle of David versus Goliath, have the big organization suddenly seized the initiative? That's the question.